A mother's intuition is unmatched. Sahej Kaur Judge was born February 23rd, 2022. Something kind of fell off within the second week of her life. I felt like her color was not the same shade as our family. I saw 3 or 4 different physicians to try to get a diagnosis, but they dismissed me as just kind of being paranoid. We were told that, her color is because we are of Indian descent and that it's just the shade of our skin tone.
My wife is a nurse. She identified this illness in our daughter before anybody else did, including the doctors.
I asked for blood tests and her liver numbers were just completely out of range. Her body was failing, and one of the thoughts that just replays in your mind over and over again is, my daughter's gonna die, my daughter's gonna die. She was diagnosed on May 27th with biliary atresia. Biliary atresia is a disease where the bile ducts just don't function properly. All of that bile ends up being backed up into the liver, causing all the liver cells to then essentially die. She was dying at the time that she was diagnosed. We got transferred from our hospital to UCSF Benioff. They were like, we're going to make all the decisions from here on out.
A lot of positivity happened when we got transferred to UC San Francisco. I felt very comfortable there the second that I walked in.
After having lost almost all of the trust we had in the healthcare system, it is a huge testament to be able to say, I trusted these people.
For biliary atresia, there's a procedure that essentially tried to restore this drainage system. Unfortunately, it was too late of a diagnosis and there was too much damage to her liver. We knew early on that transplant was the only way for Sahej to live.
The family needed to come to UCSF because community hospitals don't have transplant programs, and they don't often have pediatric hepatology, which is also, of course, a critical piece of the puzzle here.
All right.
UCSF is widely acknowledged in the field as one of the top transplant centers overall in the world. So community hospitals send their patients to us.
We talked to family at length about living donor options.
Thankfully, I was a perfect match.
I remember the handoff. On that day, woke up, met the anesthesiologist and everybody, and handed her off.
I performed the donor surgery on Aman and brought the liver over to the Children's Hospital with the donor network team, and then helped implant the liver into Sahej. It was a long day, but very worth it.
All the nurses were cheering for me when I came in. I know, every time I talk to them, I want to cry. And they were the ones taking care of my baby when I was gone. I finally felt like she wasn't gonna die anymore. And she's playing and she's kicking and she already looks bigger somehow. I finally felt like I could live my life with her again. And I felt like we weren't really living before that.
I was sitting by the nursing station and I can see her monitor going off. And I was like, what is going on? It turned out they were dancing together. Her heart rate was showing that it was 200 because she was dancing. She was so happy.
If it wasn't for UCSF, I don't believe that we'd have the success that we did with her transplant. They saved my daughter's life. God, and the nurses were so great. They were like angels. I never knew somebody that could love your child that didn't know them. Which flavor do you want? I'm a huge advocate for a living donor. There's nothing in my daily life that's altered because I donated my liver. I grew back in 6 weeks.
Sahej is doing fantastic. I don't think anybody could really tell she had a transplant if they looked at her.
She's 2.5 years old. She's walking, talking, running, doing all the things that you're supposed to do.
She is so full of life.
Every single time we get to experience and enjoy that gift of her thriving, we're so lucky because of the gift that she was given. We get to celebrate her for the little things over and over again. We're liver sisters. That's what we call each other.